the opening prayer. So I can't share the screen. I have to share the opening prayer in the screen. So I can't share.
Okay, just a minute.
Oh, Mother Saint James, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, those great obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience happiness be separate from suffering decisively. I raise to let them in the still ones up as perfect, compelling the precious Buddhahood. Oh, Mother Saint James, especially those enemies who hate me, obstructors who harm me, and those great obstacles on my path to liberation and nations. May the experience happiness be separate from suffering decisively. Always related in the still ones up as perfect, compelling the precious Buddhahood. Dala dong waru zibe da no waru zibe ge torbo dong tom jin jimbe bardo ju baru zeba tom je je zor zebe manang ga dang yambe sim jin dam je dewa dang de dong hara dang zhar yor de la na me yang da bara zo be zang jo ren bo je do bar za. Dasandra achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with the body, speech, and the mind. We take refuge in the kind rule Lama and the lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deity of the mandalas of Yadams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dhakas, Dakinis, and the Dhamma gardens, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and the likewise. In the example of a Bodhisattvas, as the previous Buddhas embody the enlightened mind, and the progress on the Bodhisattva's path are true for the benefit of all sentient beings giving birth to bodhicitta, and apply myself to accomplish the stage of the path. In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached by the merit of generosity and the good deeds. May I attain Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. May all Mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the sacred happiness different from sorrow. May they rest in conformity, free from attachment and aversion. We skip the long 7 Lamprachi. Short mandala offering. The ground is sprinkled with the scented water, and the strew of the flowers. It is adorned with the meadow, the spirit mountain, the 4 continents, the sun, the moon. As Buddha fare out for it, may all sentient beings attain the happiness as the Buddha fares. To the lamas who possess the 3 kayas, I offer the altar inner and the sacred offerings with my body, breath, and all that is visible. Please grant me the spirit of realization and enlightenment. Whatever merit I have gathered through postrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate. Om Guru Namandala Panzamanga Samanda Savaran Samaya Ahom. I call refuge, O knowing of the words. Your fame provides the 3,000 words. You are the victor, Vajradhara, with adore. I bow at the feet of Father and Jigdin Songong. Continue laughing with no one but you. Compassionate one grant your blessings. Dispel the darkness that surrounds my heart. Please bless me so that I can realize the unlimited nature of mind. Please turn the way of the Dharma of the two workers and the combination according to the disposition, the likewise, the mental capacity of sentient beings. Manjushri, his wisdom is brilliant like the sun, free of clouds of two worlds, and pursues with the various steps of knowledge in the true nature. For this reason, he holds wisdom takes at his heart, he has a compassion. For all beings who suffering from the darkness of ignorance and the prison of samsara as a father for all only son. Like a thunderclap, he awakens those who are sleeping in ignorance and the losing of charm of karma. Through the 60 branch of Haramana's speech, he wears the wisdom silver to cut settling of the suffering and to dispel the darkness of confusion. In the Bodhisattva form, he is pure from beginningless time, fully accomplishing the 10 levels and perfect in the body of all knowledge. I supplicate you, Majeshwari, adorned by the 112 Son of Buddha, to dispel the darkness of my ignorance. Om Arapazanade, 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 Om Arapazanade. Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Arapazanade, Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram. Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram, Om Wangeshwaram. You who are the perfect, you the full body, whose flame of wisdom blesses, and the dispel darkness of all the ignorance, are posted before you in the press to Manjushri. 有那个人常外婆一些中美绕的吧，一点的莫门萨万将把这养老上这都当给都结，小姐人生中迎接么多对着蹦将吧。这些人不打不了几百个，小姐家被小那个上子。Jagara Benche, Pula Gadenche, Bemanjo Nekalan Dendrome, Tada Lano Zimbe Kanonze, Ordien Rumbo Jela Zorwande, Romain Jije Yenje Vodangni, Tisom Sanje Genje Ngowonye, 让生几个我从东这边，咱们老们下拉索完的。Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, evening. Thanks very much for coming to teaching. Today, I share with you the teaching is called Dream Yoga root text. So this Dream Yoga has a commentary. Commentaries a couple of years ago. I shared this teaching, and then the Amanda did the transcription. So we have also the commentary too. Today I share directly from the root text. Then we have some here contents. So go to the page 2. See page 2 here, part 1. So we'll show in the beginning, the introductory section. Then second introduction to the Guru Nyada Uza's Dream Yoga teaching. Here there are many different kinds of Dream Yoga teachings. So the master realizer sharing the different kind of Dream Yoga teachings. What I'm sharing with you today is different from Dream Yoga teachings you normally hear. So normally we hear the Dream Yoga means use our dream and recognize or use the dream to practice Dharma. transform the delusion is become for the using for practice Dharma. This dream yoga teaching is good for people who have received the Bardo Tidor teachings. So now we just finished Bardo Tidor teaching. Bardo Tidor teaching is a herring liberation teaching. We've just finished one. If you have received the Bardo Tidor teaching, then it is easy to understand. It's more better, easy to understand. Also, this dream yoga teaching helps understanding more clear about herring liberation too. This dream yoga teaching, for someone who hasn't yet received the Bardo Tidor teachings, still you can study and learn. This different teaching always helps us to increase our understanding and to learn other Dharma teachings as well. So you study, many different kind of this Dharma teaching, especially of course different kind of Bardo teaching, then helps clarify, in the Bardo our understanding, or the when each individual has a different kind of experience. So that's many ways it helps if you have more education, understand Dharma teachings. Then it's good to listen to what I am going to share with you, which is followed by one story. This story, one from Guru Nyada. Nyada meaning and the sun and the moon in Tibetan. Uzur means radiating light, and these are the people who are in the stories. So now I'm going to share this story. In this story, a couple people's name and mention here. So you have to know these people's name. Guru Nyada Uzur, a very high spiritual teacher, and the Tertun who has this dream yoga experience. This teaching comes from Guru Nyada Uzur. So Guru Nyada Uzur, used his dream and looked to his brother. So that's why these teachings come from Guru Nyada Uzur. And Dorje Jamsing, Guru Nyada's younger brother, who is in the Bardo Bang. So he passed away, and Dorje Jamsing is Bardo Bang disease. Amala, mother of Guru Nyada, Dorje Jamsing, Todin, and Dorje Sitar. So this is the mother of all these, different brothers there. Todin, brother of Guru Nyada, Dorje Jamsi, and Dorje Sitar. Dorje Sitar, brother of Guru Nyada, Dorje Jamsi, and Dorje Sitar. They are brothers. Terahu, daughter of Dorje Jamsi, who is also a Bardo Bang. Terahu, she also passed away. She is the Dorje Jamsi's daughter. Ata, person protecting Amala's home. So she is usually the taking care home person. Aku Kampala, Aku, a friend of Dorje Jamsi from their home village of the Tsikar. So their home village's name is called Tsikar. Adora, a friend of Dorje Jamsins from their home village of Tsikar. Nyeto are also friend of Dorje Jamsins from their home village, Tsikar, Bardo beings. They're all Bardo beings. Okay, so then Guru Nyada Uzur was a high spiritual teacher, so we know it's explaining about Guru Nyada Uzur. Who's Guru Nyada Uzur? This is his story of how he used his dream to meet his younger brother in the Bardo. He was practiced from the teachings he had received from the lineage of one of the Indian scholars, Chowoje. So Chowoje is the very famous Indian scholar come into Tibet, spread Dharma. very important scholar, teacher, Pardin Atisha. So his name is George Pardin Atisha. George Pardin Atisha, he shared one teaching. So the teaching practice, you can, use the dream and can look to the Bardo beings. In this practice, dreams are used in order to recognize previous and future lives and to meet Bardo beings. That is the practice Guru Nyadauzer used in order to meet his younger brother in the Bardo. So the Guru Nyadauzer used this teaching practice. He met his younger brother in the Bardo. When he woke up from the dream, he wrote down what happened to him. So then right where he write down everything. That is what I am sharing with you today. This teaching is a part of the Bardo hearing liberation. Thus I posted to all the Sheto deities. Sheto deities, so when we share the Bardo Tudor hearing liberation, and there has a peaceful deities and wrathful deities. So that's called all the Bardo deities. When Guru Nyadauzer wrote down this dream, first he posted to all the peaceful and wrathful Sheto deities. And now is a part 2, so that's the introduction. Part 2, virtue in the middle. The main body of the teaching, Guru Nyadauzer dream yoga experience, Bardo hearing is liberation. So now is the main teaching. I post to all the Sheto deities. So Guru Nyadauzer postation homage to all the Sheto deities, peaceful, wrathful deities. This took place in the mouse month of the peg year during the winter time. I, Guru Nyadauzer, was in retreat in Lela Gompa monastery in Tibet. So he's from the monastery named Lela Monastery. He was there. That year, my home village of Tsikar was severely affected by a disease. There was so much sickness, and it affected the people of Tsikar village greatly. 20 people died from the disease, and 100 recovered. So 20 people died, 100 recovered. The small village, that is a high number. During that time, my younger brother, Dorje Jamsing, and his daughter passed away. So due to that disease, his younger brother and his younger brother's daughter also passed away. He was 32 years old. His brother is only 32 years old. He passed away. 3 months had passed since their death. So his brothers already passed 3 months gone. During the last 3 months, I had been in solitary retreat in Lela Monastery. So Nyada Uzur is meditating and practice in the Lela Monastery. I felt very sad and I greatly missed my brother. I wanted to see where he and his daughter were. So he looking for his brother and the brother's daughter. So I used the practice from the George lineage so that I could log into my dream. I had already accumulated the mantra that are required before using this dream yoga practice. So, the Nyadauzer using the dream yoga, so he have to practice some levels have to do mantra to accomplish this dream yoga practice. So then he has already done the mantras long before, but he never used the practice, I think, until this time. Then when Okay. That night, I practiced and focused a single pointed for my younger brother to see where he was. So he used this practice and focus to his younger brother. This took place on the 22nd day of the Mau's month, 3 months after he had passed. During the very early hours of the morning, when it was still dark, about 2-3 hours before sunrise, I was asleep in Lela Monastery, and then I had a dream where I was crossing a big river into the area of Chamna, which has a very thick forest. So he has a dream this come to him. Usually the dream, so when you go for sleep, maybe you go sleep 10 o'clock example, 10 to 1 is the called that your dream is followed by the previous life karmic imprints habituate. And maybe 1 to like 3, 4 is called the then the dream is usually the spirits magically create something. It's like obstacles or whatever coming, so you fear that. Then dream usually said the 3 to like 6 or 5, and this one what he has happening. So this is like kind of more feature what happening. Usually looking to the dream is like 3 to 5 or 6 between that dream is like more looking to the future. So that's the general explain, but not always happening that. So then now he has the dream. So there were lots of people gathering together. So Chamna, the place, many people gathering together. Everyone was ready to leave when I arrived. So he arrived, everyone ready to leave. I walked closer to them, and Amala, my mother, appeared to me. She was young, and she was saying a few people's names. So this words is come from his mother. Amala, we are all together here. Nyedaozer. Todin, Dorjestar, and myself, Nyedaozer. Todin and Dorjestar don't stay here at Chamna. Please, you three go to Chapkar. So things will go better there. I must go to Zikar because at this time there are many thieves in the village. They have already stolen 20 of our animals. Ata is taking care of our home, but I am not sure if he will be able to protect it. I'm going back to check in our home. Nyada and Dorje Satar, you go first. Todin, you come behind me. I come here to look for Dorje Jamsi. He is very sad at this time. Dorje Jamsi is the Bardo Beng. And I am taking care of him. He is going through great difficulty and is suffering. So now here is Amala, it means like mother. This mother is actually more kind of the Varja Yogini appeared to his mother, not the ordinary his mother, but the Varja Yogini is appeared to his mother. Then this words is come from actually Varja Yogini. So he's saying here is we have a thief. Thief is meaning is actually disease. The loss is like people's life is lost. So he mentioned about here, already stealing 20 of our animals, means like 20 people passed away already. So then Atala, she taking care home, but she don't know. She says he can care or not. She don't know. So then she gives some suggestions to this, Nyadawuzur and Dorje Sitar, what they should do. So then she also mentioned about Dorje Jamsing, who passed away, Bardo Beng. She said, I meet him. He is very sad. And this time, I'm taking care of him. So she said she's taking care of him. If you learn more this ghost story, whole thing, and then you understand, Amala right now, she talking about she taking care of the Dorji Jamsi Pardo Beng. He's going through great difficulty and is suffering. So Dorji Jamsi is the very difficulty and the suffering in the Pardo. It's very hard to find a beautiful home. So beautiful home means like spiritual home, hard to get. And the Dorje Jamsi, he can find regular, ordinary home, not spiritual home. But in this, here right now is talking about the mother is Vajja Yogini. She not let him to take wrong birth. So she protecting. The reason is Dorje Jamsing, when he a lifetime, then he has Vajja Yogini empowerment and the teachings. So he received. So that's the reason right now Dorje Jamsing is in the Bardo. Vajja Yogini is protecting him. So protecting is Dorje Jamsing not going to take birth is lower rank. Also not going to take wrong homes, like maybe negative family, negative homes. So then he have to get the home is a beautiful home, is a spiritual home, but very hard to get. That's why very hard to find a beautiful home. I didn't send him to a negative home. She says I didn't send him to negative home because she protected. But he hasn't found a positive spiritual home yet. I told him that he must wait in the Bardo until it is possible for him to find the good rebirth, that he so desires a birth into a virtuous spiritual master's family. So then when we study Bardo herring liberation, so Bardo beings ready to take birth, they have so much desire, get the future life. So Dorje Jamsi, he has some good karma and some protections. So that's the reason he knows choose the right home. And that's why he waiting, but he has a very strong desire to get, spiritual master's family. No, surely you can meet him. So she told him, you can meet him. If you meet him, talk with him. He is very sad. He speak of sad things and will share his unhappy feelings with you. That's what he usually share with me. And I press him and make him feel happy, joyful, and protect him. So now I have to go home to see if any thieves are going to steal from our home. Both of you look for Dorje Jansi and talk with him. So she told, her sons, meet Dorje Jansi. If he hasn't happy, ask him to cross the river and come to Tsikar village. So, that means like Dorje Jamsi is not really happy in the Bardo. So he no patience, then he lose patience, whatever he get going to take the bird. Then she's told, Nyada was bring him into the Tsikar. So that means like no, I think not really going to get perfect home, but better life, something. So if he can wait in the Pardom still, like can find maybe better life, but he, due to his suffering in the Bardo, and maybe he don't have enough patience there. So that's why she said, if he don't want to stay, then bring him to the Tsikar village. So that means that he can take birth, I think, in the home in the Tsikar village. At Lok and so my younger brother. So then he, okay, so no, we are not there. I'm so come to Tsikar village. I am keeping watching over him and protect him in case he has any enemies. So enemies like negative karma, negative karma arriving, pushing to the lower realms. So that's why Vajra Yogini protect him is negative karma, not forcing to his Bardo, disease, his conscious take to the lower realms. That's why I'm here. No, I have to go back to our village and protect our home from thieves. I must leave first. So she said that. And our mother crossed the river and went directly back to our home village of Tsikar. So he saw that in the dream. After that, I looked and saw my younger brother. So then he said his younger brother. He was crying a lot, carrying a large bundle of wood on his back. So that's the representative his karma is carrying, and Bardo beings always has feelings, carry something in the in the back and the body, they're carrying something. His face shows so much sadness, and he had one hand on his cheek with his head like this way, tatted, I think. Means like this is a very sad showing. It's you sad and no protections, like kind of feel unhappy. He was singing a song filled with sorrow. So he's saying song, but then song is like suffering song. And singing the words in a long, mournful, I think, where Dorje Star and I were waiting to meet him. Dorje Star is the Nyada Ozer's brother. He's not passed away, he's alive one, Dorje Star is. And I were waiting to meet him. So Nyada Ozor has his brother and with him to meet the Dorje Jamsing. Dorje Jamsing walked forward and stood close to us. So then Dorje Jamsing come close to them. Guru Nyada Ozor, where have you been? I thought you had already passed away. You aren't dead. You have come here. No, we will go back home. We will go to Chapkar, and that will be wonderful. So that's the Guru Nyada Ozor told the Dorje Jamsing. Guru Nyada Ozor see him in the dream, but he didn't recognize his passed away. So he think, I told you already passed away, but you are not. So you are not right now. You are here. So follow us. Go back to home. So he told that. I still couldn't trust what was happening. I was uncertain if what I was experiencing was real or not. So Nyada Ozor has dropped because he thought, what happened here? He's seeing real his brother, or he has delusions going on. My mind was not happy. So then he's seeing his brother. Nyada Ozor also his mind is not happy. Joyful or peaceful. My mind was not happy. Joyful or peaceful, it was filled with sadness. So his mind is not happy, no joy, right? No peaceful. his fear also very sadness. And compassion arose for my younger brother. So of course, due to the younger brother's sadness, suffering in the Bardo, so that feeling his brother get. So that's why he not happy, right? And so then he also see his brother is not happy. It was filled with sadness and compassion arose my for younger brother. He aroused very strong compassion. I thought that we were both alive. So he think we both alive because meet in the Bardo. So you can see the face to face each other. That's why he thought it's both alive. Meeting each other in the living Bardo. My brother replied to me. So now he asked these questions to his younger brother. So then Dorje jumps in, replied to him. I have been everywhere. There's no place I haven't been. So the Bardo beings go to every single place. They cannot stay one place because we talked already in the, Herring liberation teaching. They don't have physical form. So that's the reason the mental conscious is just, blowing every place. Like when your thoughts, your minds, when your thoughts arise, you are already there. So same is like in the dream, we get the dream. So when we are sleeping in the bed, but mind goes all over the place in all the world. So same, the Bardo being has the experience. So that's the reason he said, I went to every place. I had 170,000 people with me. So that's all is the Bardo beings. 70, 80,000 people have fallen into west hole in the ground. So he has like 170,000 people with him, right? 70, 80,000. So that means like majority people have fallen into west hole in the ground, means lower realms. 39,000 are left and stuck here. So 39,000 people, I think, still they didn't get the future life. They're not really falling to the lower realms, but they didn't get the future life. Stuck here means, I think. Some were very scared. Then in the Bardo, of course, they're very scared. So, like, think about it, if we don't have a home, and then weather is like frozen, and storm, wind, so fear is not comfortable and no protections. So that kind of, this Bardo beings has feelings. And some like place like hurricane arriving, right? And the storms, thunders. So that kind of, the weather is terrible weather happening. And then no any shelters, protections. So we feel very sad and we feel very fear, suffering, same in the Bardo beings. So that's why this Bardo beings are very sad. Some were very scared and tried to escape the storms, see? So they run into the forest, trying to find a safety. So then they scared and go forest, escape to the forest, looking to the shelter and the protection. So that means that they're going to take the birth to the animal realms. Because when we share the herring liberation teaching, when we have this scared and we have very scared in the Bardo, so have to recognize it's delusion. We have to feel relaxed, not escaping, run away for that. If you run, from this it's right now it's talking about here is like storm and rain. So that kind of, try to escape, go into forest. So that means like taking birth into the animal realms. So many animals live in the wild, and the land, because there's some is under the ground, and they're all due to the negative karmic imprints perception. Negative karmic imprint perception very strong in the Bardo. So then this disease have very scared. Then they try to escape because of negative karma falling into their escape to in the underground. Like, so that's why many bugs in the underground. So some is like, ocean animals. Some go into the ocean, escape. So that's why they get in the, body, animal realms. So that's why the most important, instruction is when we have this experience in the Bardo, like negative experience, we have to recognize it is a delusion. It is actually our own, emanation or our own projecting, not really truly there exist. So long as recognize that all this, I think, delusion is naturally released. So that's why right now we are in the living Bardo. So we have to meditate, control our mind. So then in the living Bardo, if long as we have opportunity or have practice like can control our mind, then in the Bardo, that time, so in this frightening negative perception arise, we can control our mind. So not really try to escape, run from that. So that's why he's sharing, what other Bardo beings happening. So they run into the forest, trying to find safety. Some jaw and head in the ground. Me and some other friends from Tsikar who had received Bardo Tudor empowerment and teachings from you. So now he talking about his brother. His brother is a teacher. So his brother shared the Bardo Tudor teaching and also empowerment. And the Tsikar village, there mention about 20 people pass away. So mostly the people have already received the Bardo Tudor and empowerment. So that's why he mentioned about we receive teaching from empowerment from you, teaching from you, have all been together, gathering together, and we are all protected by our mother. See, mother means so no is they fear they're thinking about their mother's protected, but it's not their own true the ordinary mother. The mother is Varja Yogini. Because there has this empowerment, Varja Yogini instruction empowerment. That's what they're, have a feeling or perception is mother protected for them. She give us here rope and is protect us from here storms. See, and the wind. So that's all the negative karma. When blowing, Bardo beings conscious is the same as like bird's feather. Karma is the same as wind blowing. So bird's feather, no any control, right? Wind blowing, they cannot stay like stably. They're just wind blowing. Wind goes like south to maybe west. So then wind blowing west. So the direction, so wherever the wind goes, the bird's feather is below that direction. So here is this Bardo beings, the fear is like hair, storms, and wind. But that is all is a negative karma. Then that thing, the mother protected means like already mentioned about the Vajra Yogini mother are protected them. They give the protection, like they have like under the cloth. They can hide the winking or blowing. So they're not scared. So that's the fear that. We receive the Bardo empowerment from you, and that's the reason our mother is protecting us. So he mentioned about what happened to him. That's the reason we don't get much suffering or difficulty. So the less suffering, less difficulty, because negative karmic, when arise, always the Vajra Yogini protected them. I didn't follow these other 70, 80,000 beings into the big hole. So he said he didn't follow them. If he followed these people, he going to take birth lower realms. I didn't want to go there because he has good karma. He feeling is they don't really desire wanting to go there. And our mother didn't let me go into the big hole. Also, see, Vajra Yogini protected him, and she never let go to in that negative hole. She told me not to go there. Also, she didn't let me take rebirth into a negative family. See, she didn't take, future life negative family. Other people try to escape the storms, and that is why they went into the forest and dug holes in the ground, staying to find safety. So these beings like looking to the future life, escape, then they take birth is like animal realms. So that's mentioned about very clearly, like how to these many bugs underground and the forest animals, because due to this feeling when they get in the Bardo, they escape. But then they didn't go into the big hole. Also, that means like they don't go to hungry gods and harem beings, but take birth to the animal realms. Aku Kampala, Aku didn't listen to us and went into the big hole. So Aku Kampala is like the same the village. So there, I think he also the part of the 20 people dead from the village. So he didn't listening to the group, the also Dorji Jamsi's mother told them is don't go to the big hole. So this guy, he didn't listen to them. Went into the big hole means he falling to the lower realms. No, I think he has lots of difficulties. Andorra and Nyoto stay with me for a long time. So there's two also from the village. They both also pass away. So they're being together in the Bardo. Stay with me for a long time. Before he left, Adora said to me, Adora said to me, Adora, yeah, your brother told us not to go to a negative home, but we cannot find a great positive spiritual family. This is not possible to find during this time in the Bardo. I am so tired, and I have been in the Bardo for too long. If I stay here too long, I'm going to fall into the hole. Due to your brother, I have been able to stay with you, even though I have created so much negativity, and that is why I have not fallen into the hole. So that's the, Adora sharing to this information to the Dorji Jamsi. So Adora, he wanted to take birth. He don't want to wait in this, Bardo, because it's more danger. he fears very danger for him. So the Adora, he think, he cannot find the spiritual home, but he can just find the normal, I think, human beings home. Maybe that's he wanted to take birth. So maybe he don't have like good karma to like take very high level spiritual home. So he never falling to the lower realms. The reason is because Nyada Uzer, and who has this dream, this teacher, share many times already Bardo herring liberation to them. So that protected them, they never falling to the hair realms. So that's the mention about here. No, I can't stay here because if I do, I will far into the West Hall. I don't care, no, if I find a positive spiritual home. It's better for me to find any kind of family to be reborn into, even if it's not a, oh, what happened? Oh, my computer has changed. Yes, sir. Everything is Chinese language.
I don't know what's happened. It looks like Cherub's screen is shared. I think that's what's happened. I'm going to turn off the screen sharing and then
So can you hear, right?
Yeah, we can hear, but I'm going to turn the screen sharing off. I think that's maybe what happened. There. Okay. So are you speaking, Kempo? I can't hear you now.
He's muted.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, Kempo, you're muted. That's really strange.
Okay, no, I can hear.
Yes, now we can hear. I don't know. There's ghosts in the dream Bardo.
Okay, so so no, here is Ado wanted to take birth because he fear not comfortable to stay in the Bardo. So that's why he said, I don't care, no, if I find a positive spiritual home or not, it is better for me to find any kind of family to be reborn into, even if it is not a pure family. So pure family is follow the spiritual, impure is like not spiritual family. That is a better choose for me. I'm very scared to stay here. I will have to look to find a home. Dorje Jamsi, Anda said that and left. So that is like Andra, she or he, I don't know, told to Dorje Jamsi then that she left. I don't think my friend was born into the hair realms, hungry ghost, or animal realms. He couldn't find a positive family, but he could be ready to take birth. He could already be there, means like the Andor, she or he already took the birth, maybe human beings. That's the Dorje Jamsi thing. But he thinks she never falling to the harems and animals, hungry ghost rams. After my brother shared that with me, so that's the noise, Nyadawzer, he was filled with even more sadness. and held one hand to his cheek while chatting, right? Chatting. Correct or no? Chatting like this. Yeah. His head. He started to leave while singing a sorrowful song. Then, making the song and ready to leave because Bardo Ben cannot stay too long one place. So thought comes and sad comes, then just follow that. Dorje Jansin. So then what he's saying is home and home, spiritual home, very hard to find. That is more difficult than anything on earth. So dirty in the negative home. Then he put his bundle of wood on his back and he left. I yelled out to my brother. So Grunyada was he calling his brother again. Maybe he says, stop, hello, stop. In Tsikar village, so then he asked question again. In Tsikar village, many people pass away. Did you meet them? Who have you met? Have you spent any time with them? What place did they reach? So that's the Guru Nyadawazar asked question to the Dorje Jamsi. Then Dorje Jamsi said, I meet many of our village people, Tsikarwa. Some of us meet and were quickly separate. Some like meet together and very quickly separate. Some of us were able to stay together for a one day. 5 people who receive empowerment from you, we have all been together for 10 days. So who has empowerment, spiritual together, practice together, they can stay longer together. I think also like they can support each other. Another lady went and climbed a mountain. So he saw like one lady went into the climbed mountain. I didn't know what happened to her. I'm not sure if she received difficult or not. So then she despaired. So that's why he didn't know what happened here. Other people who were with us were suddenly missing. So suddenly, missing. One by one, falling somewhere, but I don't know what happened to them. So then just goes together like slowly, the despairs, because due to the, followed by the individual karma. That the Dharma is important, especially receiving the Bardo teachings and hearing liberation when you are living. So now he sharing this, Bardo hearing liberation teachings most important during the when we are lifetime. That is the time that you really need to familiarize with these teachings. So during, right now we are in the living Bardo, so we have to familiarize, understanding very clearly this, hearing liberation teaching. Me and some others have heard the Bardo Tudor, so he has teaching, and some also his friend has teaching, hearing liberation. Those of us who have heard the Bardo Tudor know how to pick up the good home and discard the bad homes. So who has the Bardo Tudor teaching, then that's disease like knowing, pick up the good home, spiritual home, and avoid the negative homes like lower realms. We can choose which is better and which is not good. Also, those of us who can hear all this Bardo aspiration, prayers, and who know the Bardo Tudor have been gathering to chant this prayer in the Bardo. So Another here says, also those of us who can hear all these Bardo aspiration prayers. Someone chanting this prayer to the Bardo beings, right? And his Dorji Jamsi is a Bardo being, so he said he can hear. So the main point is, I think his brother, he chanting the, hearing liberation to them. So that's why they can hear. They can hear Bardo hearing liberation, and then there, of course, they has already practiced Bardo hearing liberation. That's why they can still like maybe better in the comparing to other disease in the Bardo. So also those us who can hear all this Bardo aspiration prayer and who know the Bardo tutor have been gathering to chant these prayers in the Bardo. So then also the I think ability to gathering together, they can chant together too. When we were chanting the Bardo tutor, chanting together, hundreds of thousands of people were crying. I asked them, why are you crying? They told me, Bardo beings told him, you are so great and lucky. You know how to do these dedications. You have these special teachings. It is an antidote to the Bardo suffering. So when chant this Bardo hearing liberation, I think also, when Dorji Jamsi and include his some friends knows how to chant this, the chanting and other Bardo beings also, I think, receiving some benefit because they feel more comfortable, maybe less suffering. So that's why they're sharing their own kind of experience to the Dorji Jamsi. So loosely, in this case, Nyada Uzur, the spiritual teacher, he chant his Bardo teachings. And then this Bardo being Dorji Jamsi, his brother also can hear, and who has teachings they can hear and they can follow together chanting. So that also can hear other Bardo beings. Then other Bardo beings recognize, so this hearing liberation is protecting in the Bardo for the suffering. So that's why they're telling, sharing this information to the Dorji Jamsi, other Bardo beings sharing information to the Dorji Jamsi. So you know how to do this dedication. You have this special teaching. It is antidote to Bardo suffering. You know how to find the right path, the right home. All of you can talk and chant this prayer together. You have the same opinion and can practice together. We cannot do that. That's why we have so much regret and sadness. Other Bardo being has more regret and more sadness. The reason is because they don't have any protections. That's the why we are crying. Can you teach us? So they ask, share some this teaching for them. Dorje Jamsi, I chant the parts of the Bardo Tudor that I have memorized as much as I can, but I'm not really great at it. I just chant. So he knows some, this hearing liberation teaching, but not that great. So that's he accepted what his practice is not that great. Bardo beings, why didn't you liberate in the first Bardo when you had that opportunity? Why are you stay here? So of course, then other Bardo beings are going to ask question to him. So we talked about, death Bardo, reality Bardo, right? Intermediate state, take the birth Bardo. So, who has this practice, Mahamudra Dzogchen, there can liberate in the death Bardo, recognize true natural mind. So that's why they say, these other Bardo beings ask Dorji Jamsi, why you liberate to the death Bardo? Why you are all the way come to here? Because he's already stuck all the way into to enter, like intermediate state, rebirth Bardo. So he didn't liberate in the death of Bardo. He didn't liberate in the reality Bardo, right? So now he's already all the way to in the intermediate state, rebirth Bardo. So that's why they ask questions. Why are you stay here? Dorje jumps in. So he replied, I think, when the reality Bardo come, the songs and the radiate lights were so strong. So I lost consciousness. And I could not liberate in that state. So he cannot liberate in the reality Bardo. I didn't recognize that it was reality. He said he didn't know that. When I was living, I received the Bardo Theodore twice, but I only somewhat recognized the reality Bardo, but he recognized some part a little bit, but not really familiarity and not practitioner. That's why he lost. I tried and tried, but it did not appear to me. Means reality Bardo also, I think, when death Bardo comes, we're talking about the nature realities arising. So he didn't recognize nature realities arising because he didn't, I think, also like meditate Mahamudra and Dzogchen. He has some teachings, but no practice. That's why he didn't have familiarity. If someone didn't have a familiarity, no used to, nature mind, and then in the Bardo, they didn't recognize. Nature is arising, they don't recognize. So that's why he didn't recognize. I tried and tried, but I did not appear to me means like he didn't recognize. I think if I had received the Bardo 2 or 3 times, it is possible that I could have recognized reality. Because I only received the Bardo 2 twice is not enough for him. So it's actually dependent, right? Not, if you receive many times, if you don't really pay attention, not put effort practice, then you can receive 10 times. It's like still like, not that much benefit. If you put really effort, I think, and you practice use, then you receive one time also effective as benefit. So that's why here, Dorje jumps in here, received twice, but looks like he didn't really practice, pay attention that much during that time. So I know, like, generally Tibetan lay people receive teachings, but they really don't pay attention that much strongly. And that thing is like blessing, receiving, and then teachers have to liberate. That's why they also he think, his brother going to liberate him. He didn't put effort himself. So because I only received the Bardo Theodore twice, that the reason that until now I haven't recognized this reality Bardo. So actually, I really wanted to be born as a son into a spiritual family. So another problem him is he has a desire, attachment, wanted to take birth in the human beings. So that's why he cannot liberate. So he mentioned about it clearly here. I really wanted to be born as a son into a spiritual family. That's what I want. So he wanted that. All this time, I have been waiting for this spiritual family home. So 3 months already been. So we talked about Bardo is like 49 days, right? So not only 49 days, it's 3 months is like already 90 days for him. He's still in the Bardo because he didn't found the spiritual home. It is so hard, so difficult to get. I haven't found it yet. Then my brother began singing a sorrowful song again. So he follow again, he cannot control himself. So he has said, and he's saying this negative, sadness song again. Dorje Jansin, what he's sharing so song is like this one, I think. Home, spiritual home, very hard to find in this world. Very dirty, negative home. Negative home is so dirty, means like, no any connection to the spiritual path. All of the conditions are open for taking birth in the lower realms. Very sad, very sad. The Bardo is sad. So he has this experience, he recognized if take to birth is a negative home, can be temporarily, happy home because some samsaric desire level. But then, you have like good karma is burn again, exhaust again, good karma, and then create a negative karma. So due to that, it's falling to the lower realms. So that means like Dorje Jamsi also seeing more future lives recognized. If someone looking very temporary short moment, then negative home also can be temporarily happy place too. So we know like in this world, like so many homes, of course, like temporarily very happy, joyful homes, but then, if born in that family, no connection to the spiritual and create more negative karma. So falling to the lower realms again. That's why he, seeing more further, far away. So then also this negative home is always open for taking birth in the lower realms. Very sad and very sad. The Bardo is sad. Then Bardo suffering is very sad. My brother was singing these words, and then he put the bundle of wood on his back and began to follow the road and left. So his Dorje Jamsi is left. I ran behind him, yelling and pulling him towards me and holding him to make him stop. So he forcing, Nyeda was forcing to stop him. So then Guru Nyeda was, hi, hello. You don't have to be sad. So he says, you don't have to be sad like that. I can help you get freedom from suffering. You take my message to all these Bardo beings. Tell them that in the Tsikar, there is one monastery, Lela Monastery, and there is one teacher. His name is Nyeda Uzer. Every morning, Nyeda Uzer chants and practice Bardo Tudor, and also hearing and the touching liberation. Ask them to come and listen. Please tell everyone, please bring all these Bardo beings every morning to Lela Monastery. So no, Nyeda, Guru Nyeda Uzer, of course, he has very strong compassion arise to his brother, and no, is his compassion arise to all these Bardo beings. So no, he sharing, to his brother, as all the Bardo beings come to listen to his teaching. So Nyeda was going to, he make promise, he going to chant every single day Bardo Tudor and hearing liberations and touching liberation practice. So then he asks, his brother bring all the disease to his monastery. So no, please bring all these Bardo beings every morning to Lela Monastery. Tell them Nyeda Uzer is going to practice everything for them. I do this every morning, never missing a day. I'm going to chant the hearing and the touching liberation 100 times. So he's actually practicing chanting every single day. Then he also going to chant 100 times for these Bardo beings. Also, I can make the ritual torma together with a water offering as generosity offering for Bardo beings. So another is we call ritual of a torma offering to the Bardo beings. And the same is like with white soul offering. And another is like use the torma and pouring into the water and, then chant the mantra and use the more, the ritual. So that also helps for the hungry ghost and the Bardo beings receiving the food. So that's he promising them offering for Bardo beings. Then I chant prayer and dedication. I will do everything I can for Bardo beings. So he said, I'm going to do everything, whatever I can do. So that's he promised. Then Dorje Jamsi. I think most people in our village of Tsikar have already found a slightly better home. We have all been separate for a couple of days already, and I hope they know how to find a warm bird. I think they have already taken a human bird. So this is just Dorje Jamsi, his opinion, sharing to his brother. So Dorje Jamsi told his brother, like the same village, people who pass away, they mostly found the home and the human beings, bird. So he think the mostly already take bird. I think they already taking a human birth. All these Bardo beings have told us how lucky everyone from Zikar village is because we had a teacher who had already taught us how to go through the Bardo. So the other Bardo beings also recognize, from the Zikar village, people who pass away from there. Or this disease, Bardo beings can find the good home. I mean, they take good birth because they has already Bardo herring liberation teaching. So that's why they can get a more better home, future life. So other Bardo beings recognize that. So that's why other Bardo beings told us how lucky everyone from Sikar village is because we had a teacher. So teacher is this Nyada who had already taught us how to go through the Bardo. So he shared all this herring liberation teaching the village. So that's why. And only except one person, he didn't listen to the group and he falling to the lower realms. And already mentioned about up there. And we know how to choose a warm bird. So they knows how to choose a warm bird. Nyeda, you have already helped us. So his brother told him, so you already help us. That's the reason our village people know how to find the right warm bird. So that's why all the village people take the bird, human beings, because they knows how to choose the good bird. The reason is, Nyeda was already shared the herring liberation teaching to them. So that's why they can choose the good bird. But they cannot find like very high spiritual home. So now is Dorje Jamsin looking to very important spiritual home. So I mean the very high level, I think, spiritual home. That's why he's still looking, and that's the reason he's stuck in the Bardo. That's why everyone is wishing that they had been part of our village and had received this teaching that are so significant. All Bardo beings wishing, we are from Tsikarwa village, because the Tsikar village, the people who pass away from there they have more protections and good the teachings. So people from our village and many other people in the Bardo were all together until we become separated. They can go together and until they're separated. So this Dorje Jamsi also Bardo being, he's saying words also sometimes like can be different, because feeling is following, feeling is sharing. Another way he said only they're being with 10 days together. So now he say having many times days together with them. So that's also his feeling. Sometimes he feel like stay long time with them. Maybe sometimes he feels like short time with them. So whatever Bardo beings comes feeling to saying. So that's why all is followed by his feeling, sharing. Until we have become separated. When we were together, until they found the place of the rebirth. So he say here is he saying that together until they take the birth. So now his mind is a little bit calm. Sometimes his mind is more shaking and more suffering. Then he saying words is a little bit, different, because he says like up there, like we gathering only 10 days together, all goes separate. So now looks like his mind is a little calm again. He's saying it's like they're together until they found the birth. We have each other and chanted Bardo dedications. Bardo protector prayers to remove obstacle in the Bardo, and the Bardo Lam prayers. So these all prayers we have in the power text. So the prayer, the chant together. We see here also in the Bardo, like, when we are gathering together in the Dharma center, example, we practice the Dharma together, we are more calm, relaxed, another feeling. So you go to outside, the weather is maybe more cold, rain, and you have your own experience different. So, he's sharing all the different kind of experience. So that's why lots like Bardo beings gathering together and focus to the hearing liberation. That moment, their feeling is different, right? There's a feel more comfortable, more protection, for feelings more joy and have supporting each other, and become they're no focus to the hearing liberation. Then they're followed by their own karmic imprints. So that time, then he has his another, experience for himself. So that's why he's sharing kind of two different experiences here. Do you understand? So that's what we have to understand. This is not the philosophy teaching. The Buddhist philosophy teaching, then you have to follow the logic, and everything is must be like, first you say all have to follow that. You cannot say after like in different something, then whatever you talk is no truth. And here in this one is like followed by his feeling, sharing, because when he is connect to the hearing liberation teaching, he has another feeling. And he be with the other friends, Zikar village, his friends, and they're gathering together, he has another feelings. And become he is himself, and sometimes he has a negative karma feelings, so then he has another feelings. So that's why all is changing. It's nothing is stable there. So that's we have to understand. And we already received that. That is very helpful. I see. And Pardo Lam prayers. So they have these prayers. We also heard you chanting this practice every morning. See, he hearing these teachings from his brother every morning. And we already received that. That is very helpful. And we are truly happy you are doing that. So his brother told him, bring all the, Pardo beings, ask to come my monastery, listen my teachings, practice. So he said, I'm doing that, I heard your practice. I really want to take a human birth. That's why I'm still waiting here. So his brother, and even he has, protector Varja Yogini, but they cannot have him to liberate to, Devachin, Pure Lane, other realms, liberation, because he has desire, wanted to take birth into human beings. Do you understand? So that's why when we die, we wanted to liberate and wanted to go to Buddha Amitabha Pure Lane, no any other place, like 100% focus to the Buddha Amitabha Pure Lane, single pointedly. Wanted to take birth to Buddha Amitabha Pure Lane, and very strong renunciation to samsara, 6 realms, and devotion to Buddha Amitabha, single focus to the Pure Lane. Then you hear these hearing liberation teachings. We have ability to take birth to the, have the Sukhavati Pure Lane, liberation from samsara. But, in this Dorje Jamsi case, he has, teaching. His brother is a spiritual practitioner. He's sharing all these teachings. But Dorje Jamsi, he didn't have a renunciation to samsara. He still wanted to take birth to human beings. So, and he not focusing to the Buddha Amitabha Pure Lane. He focused to the human beings realm. That's why he cannot liberate. And then also another case, Dorje Jamsi, he has teachings, but he didn't practice during his lifetime. He heard the teaching, right? And he received the teaching and empowerment, but he didn't practice. Due to that, he didn't recognize in the reality Bardo, when appeared to reality Bardo. So he missed like that sections. So now he is in the Bardo of rebirth, So still he has some opportunity, ability, if he have very strong renunciation to samsara and a single pointed focus to Buddha Amitabha Pure Lane, he can have opportunity to liberate, but his problem, obstacle is wanted to take birth in the human beings. So he attached to human beings' birth. So that's why he's still stuck in the Bardo. More, I really wanted to take human being birth. That's why I'm still waiting here. We have been doing these Bardo prayers, and it has helped the other Bardo beings. So he recognized, also he doing some Bardo practice that helps other Bardo beings. They gain more courage and release some of their fears. So, when you hear the hearing liberation teaching in the Bardo, of course, at that moment you release your fears. So he recognized that, releases some of the fears, and become more cheerful and helpful. This happened when we chanted the prayer for the other Bardo beings. So there, Tsikar village, many Bardo beings has hearing liberation teaching. They can chant together, so other Bardo beings can hear that. So when they hear this hearing liberation teaching, then other Bardo beings' fear is more relaxed. The free from fears, like more the moment release the fears. We were able to help others in this way. So he knows like he also can help using this practice. And we were able to help others find a good rebirth. I felt that is true. So he recognized it is true. In the hearing liberation teaching, what taught the benefit is he recognizes is true. Millions and millions of different kinds of people are gathering together in the Bardo. So of course the Bardo being is like, every single day coming, like same as water coming into the in the lake or somewhere, So every single day beings dying. So that's why millions and millions of different kinds of people are gathering together in the Bardo. The Bardo is the same. It's like we go into the really big airport. or in the train station, like bus stations, so many people gathering. So they're going to, different directions. Then no one going to stay there, right? Everyone looking to the different directions going. So that's same, in this case, millions and millions of people, different kinds of people are gathering together in the Bardo. In that group, me and also another three Ngakpas from Tibet are the most powerful in the Bardo. So he see millions of people gathering in the Bardo, and Dorje Jamsi say he also very powerful person in the Bardo. And he see another three Ngakpa means also lay practitioner. Lay people practitioner. So three Ngakpa from Tibet are the most popular, powerful in the Bardo because they has the Dharma practice. That's why who has practiced Dharma, they are more powerful in the Bardo. Because they has more protection, they knows what they're doing, they can help others. So that's why he's saying powerful in the Bardo. This Ngakpa said that when they were in the living Bardo, they practiced Sheto, hearing liberation, as their Yedam for a long time. And that is the reason they have this power. So he saw the three Ngakpas in the Bardo. And these three Ngakpas told him, when they are living Bardo, they practice Sheto. Sheto is they practice peace for deities and wrath for deities when they are in the living Bardo. So that's why they come into the intermediate state Bardo. They have very powerful and benefit others. So he saw that they practice Sheto, hearing liberation, as they are Yedam for a long time. And that's the reason they have this power. The benefit comes from Vajrayana empowerment. So Dorje Jamsin recognized, the power is come from Vajrayana empowerment and practice and teaching. So in the Bardo, finding a good spiritual birth is very, very difficult to find. So spiritual homes very difficult to find. It is the same as human in the world trying very hard to find a precious jewel. So same is like in the human world right now, in this our world, you try to get something, find like precious jewel is very hard to get. So same in the Bardo, going to take birth, spiritual home, future life is very hard to find. Impure birth is the same as opening and mount. So the impure, lower rank birth, negative home is open, so many there. There are so many ants. And like that, there are so many impure births. Until now, I haven't found any home to be born into. Because he didn't find the home to take birth. He knows he not going to take this negative home. And he see there everything's in there opened. So then another reasons, Vajra Yogini protect him and not let taking go into the, impure homes. So in the beginning, starting story, mother, though is Nidauzer meet his mother. So his mother mentioned about his, Dorje Jamsi, he's suffering in the Bardo. She protected him. So now she going somewhere the moment, Nidauzer protected him, talking with him. So the main point is here, Dorje Jamsi not going to take birth these lower realms because he has good karma. Also, he has the protections. So then he didn't find any home to be born is good ones into. I have been together with 117,000 people. And within 1 month, we were all separated. So he have been so many diseases together with 117,000 people. And within 1 month, we were all separated, become all with one is separate. Nyeda, you saw the 500 people. I was with them. We first saw each other there. So see the Nyeda, like he mentioned about his brother. When we meet together. So I'm with the 500 people together. So when Nyeda also meet his brother, so he's a group with people together. So now he mentioned about that time he was 500 people together. No, only they are left. I say 500 people. I was with when we first saw each other there. No, only they are left. They all left. The other 116,500 people have all gone within 3 days. It could be that these 500 people were found at birth and we will be separate. Within 1 month, hundreds of thousands, millions of people come into the Bardo again. So, and within month, every month arriving hundreds and thousands of people. Every month, all of these beings have taken birth and millions of new beings arrives. So Bardo beings taking the birth and the new ones arrived. So airport, and train station, bus station, public stations, never empty there. All the time people, right? Same, the Bardo beings always arriving there. And if everyone's departure again. And then arriving all the time. So so he has the same feelings there. Within all of these beings having taken birth and millions of new beings arrives, some go to the lower realms and some go to a human birth. All of the previous group is gone, but so many people are coming in. Some are new, some are don't, some I know, some I don't. I have been here so long already, 3 months. Everyone from our village of Tsikarwa has found something and left but me. So except him only, still he's stay in the Bardo, other everyone left. Amala told me not to go to a negative home. So his mother told him not go to negative home. He's seeing his mother, but actually it's, Varja Yogini. They will give me obstacles. So until I found a spiritual pure home, she told me to wait. So Varja Yogini actually told him to wait. I told my mother that she isn't really thinking about much, that she doesn't really understand. If I wanted to long here for a spiritual family, the big hole could pour me in, and I could fall in the during this time that I am waiting. So he has a very strong fears, scared, because if he stay in the too long in the Bardo, he can be falling to the harems. So he think his mother didn't understand. Actually, mother of course he understand. She protected him, not let go into the big horse, but he didn't recognize that she has power to, help him. And he think it's just she telling him, don't go there, don't take birth, negative home. You have to find a spiritual home. So that's why he stay here, but he he's scared is he going to fall into the lower realms. During this time that I am waiting, if I fall in there, what I am going to do? So if he say, if I fall into this big hole, and he knows that is the go to the lower realms, so then he'd say, what I am going to do? I'm really scared. Every day, I'm unbelievably vast amount of people falling into that big hole. So many beings falling into the lower realms. He's only that. He's seeing every single day. If they are pulling me into that massive hole, that am I going to do? Then what he going to do? I told our mother that Amala told me. I told our mother that Amala told me. So he told also his mother. He's scared and falling to the lower realms. The Amala, until you find a spiritual home, I will protect you and not let you fall into the big hole. So she told him, you don't have to worry, until you can find the good home, I can protect it to you. So that's his Amala mother told him, but he's still maybe knowing, his mother is of course like Vajra Yogini. That's why he knows certainty. Also, your brother Nyada is drawing dedication for you. It is hard here, but still don't lose your courage and patience. So this all the instruction is giving his mother to him. So she's just good. Two things suggestion to him is like, I can help you, not going to big hole, and your brother can help you, not going to the big hole and the lower realms. So be patient and stay and courage until you find the good home. So that's he heard from his mother. My younger brother could not talk much longer and was being carried off again. So he carried the wooden something he has carrying. So he carried again. He began singing a sorrowful song. So he ready to leave again. Dorje Jansi. No, I'm going to lose my courage. No, I'm really losing my effort. Mother told me not to lose my patience and effort. I'm going to lose my effort. It is so hard to find a pure home. That is the hardest home to find in this Bardo place. So his own perception, his own perception is very hard to find a spiritual home. So now he said he's going to lose his patience, his courage. Is so much suffering in the Bardo. My brother placed his hand on his cheek, touched, I think, his head, and he was filled with sadness. And he picked up his bundle of wood and put it on his back again. Then he sang deeply, making a very mournful, I think, I don't know how to say, mournful song, that could be, huh? Mournful. Started walking and he left. I started crying. Means like, I think, Nyada was crying. His brother is crying. Tears were following from my eyes. I wiped away my tears and walked to him again. So he fought chasing again. He was very far away already. I followed him and called out to him again. Because Bardo being, cannot stay there one place And that's why he just talking and then same moment stop and left. Guru Nyadauser, so Guru Nyadauser, he hear all these stories from his brother. He comes a tear from his eye, and then he open, and his brother is already very far away already. Guru Nyadauser, hi, hello, don't go. I have to talk to you. Then my younger brother stopped, took the bundle of wood from his bag and put it on the ground. Then he sighed deeply and sadly and waited on me. I come close to him and told him, Guru Nyadauser. So saying, Guru Nyadauser saying, you don't have to suffer. I create a Sheto mandala in Lela Monastery. I dedicated that entire practice to you. So now he's saying, you don't have to say, I give you all my virtuous deeds. I give you all the good karma. So he said, I'm going to create a Sheto mandala, mandala, we can create the deity's mandala. And he's saying he created Sheto mandala in the Lela Monastery. I dedicated this entire practice to you. Then also, I hired Geshe Lobsang and asked him to chant the Mana mantra for 1 month. So he hired Geshe Lobsang and asked him to help to chant Mana mantra 1 month. So I also dedicate this to you. In Lela Monastery, I create groups to chant Om Mani Padme Hum. All these are dedicated to you. Whatever virtuous deeds I have done, everything I give to you. I dedicate all of this to you. I also told your wife, who survived, right? To do this practice. So he, when Dorje Jamsing, he passed away, he's 33 years old. He has a wife, and so wife is alive. Then Guru Nyadauser said, I'm going to talk to your wife, and she also can do practice for you. So that's her mention. But I also told your wife, he already told her, I think, you survive to do this practice. They are also doing these practices. So all his left behind, like loved ones, they're doing practice for him. That's all dedicated to you. We all of your family that was left, we always practice the Dharma and benefited others. We didn't do anything to harm other beings. We try to help every being. All of that is dedicated for you. Don't lose courage. Don't lose your passion and effort. So now his brother, sharing all the giving to his practice, everything for dedication to his brother, younger brother, Nyadauser, dedicating all his virtuous deeds, dedicating, sharing to his younger brother, Dorje Jamsi. Why is this spiritual, pure family so important for you? So now he telling, Dorje Jamsi, why are you thinking about the spiritual family? Change the mind, look to another something. I think he give suggestions. You are in the Bardo, no. You are in the Bardo mental form body. You focus and really put effort to practice the meditation. Then wherever you want to go, you can go because you can strongly focus and meditate. So now he really sharing, the instructions. The Nyadauser telling him to his brother, give up just thinking about wanted to take birth the spiritual home. So why is like important the spiritual home, right? He can focus to the Buddha Amitabha purely. So he asked him to meditate and focus the mind. Focus and meditate. We have that teaching in the Bardo Tudor. if you want to go to Pema Sambhava, Pure Land, focus there, make strong aspiration, and chant the prayer. That is better than taking birth in a pure family. So, you know, he giving instruction like focus to Buddha Amitabha Pure Land or Pema Sambhava Pure Land. We have this instruction in the Bardo, right? Hearing liberation, we share. So you really focus Pure Land and single pointedly create very strong devotion and renunciation to samsara, have ability to, you know, mind can transform to the Pure Land. So he told the, you know, his brother, focus to Pema Sambhava Pure Land. And if you take birth Pema Sambhava Pure Land, then much better than, you know, taking birth in a pure family in this world. Dorje Jamsi said, no, my stay in the human realm was too short because he has a very strong attached desire to human being realms. When he was passed away, is young and only 33 years old, right? He has a family, so he attached to that. Then he was born actually spiritual home because his brother is a very high spiritual practitioner. So he has a kind of like, I think, another is like pride, his home. And then he attached to his home and he attached to, because he didn't have renunciation to samsara. And that's the reason he only focused, take birth in the human realms and spiritual home, same as like previous one. So that's he want. My stay in the human realm was too short. I'm not satisfied. See, he said he's not satisfied in the human realms. My human life was too short. I wanted to stay longer than that. He said, I want to stay more longer than that. Actually, I could have stayed longer than that. There was one girl, Zermo Tanchoma, and due to her, I wasn't able to stay very long in the human realm. So he blamed this Zermo Tanchoma means like she get the disease first. So she was in the village, and you know she get the disease. I mean the like you know sickness, yeah. She bring that. I think she bring means like she get first. So then he get from her. So due to that, he passed away. And he think he can stay really long if he didn't get that, you know, disease. So that's why he actually blamed the other one. Due to her problem, she bring the disease, and I cannot stay too long in the human realms. He said, I can stay longer, but due to her bring the disease, then I cannot stay too long, means he passed away. Very long in the human realm. I had the karma to stay longer than that. He said, I have karma to stay very long life in the human realms. But he said his death is like become obstacle to death. Not his life is end. You know, usually we die is two reasons we die. One is obstacle, you know, die. And then obstacle dying has, you know, ritual and practice. You can avoid the obstacles, can stay long life. So end of the life means like you finish your life, then whatever you do, nothing can have anything. You will have to die. You know, even 1,000 Buddhas comes cannot serve because your life is already end, karma. Not possible to stay longer. So some people can still, you know, avoid these obstacles, can stay long. So he said his death is not finish his life. His death is because due to his obstacle, and he get the disease. So this is a, you know, bring by the Sermo Tanchoma. So that's why he said, due to her, I wasn't able to stay very long in the human realm. I had karma to stay longer than that. But due to that obstacle, I got the disease and death. I'm so disappointed. So that's why he has still like, very strong attach to his previous life. And that's the reason he's disappointed. And I wanted to be reborn into human beings' body. I also want to be reborn into a pure family. That birth is very hard to find. So he has this issue and difficulties. It is the same as God. I had that kind of a birth. God, God is very hard to get, maybe some area. Same, So the pure family birth is very hard to get. I was born into a pure spiritual family. See, he says like his pure previous family is a spiritual family. So he lost that. He's attached to that. So that's why he wanted to exactly same family. Spiritual family. And I had good brothers. So he has a good brother. One is like, see, he talking right now with Nyadauzer, is a spiritual teacher. And due to your kindness, brothers, I didn't accumulate no virtuous deeds. So when he was born, good family, and he has good spiritual brothers. So that's why he didn't create a negative karma during his previous life. No virtuous deeds. During that time, I didn't think about wanting to practice Dharma. So when he alive, he didn't think about going to practice Dharma. So same, like this time, many people receive some teachings, but they don't really think about happening, Bardo, and really needed to practice. They don't focus that much and practice. So he has same, We also have these issue problems, not only him, right? So we have listening, teaching, and have these instructions, but not really pay attention, put effort, focus, something, practice. Because when we finish teaching and we go back to already ordinary life, then just thinking about daily life activities, not thinking about Bardo, already forget. So he has that issues when he alive time. This issue problem is not only him, right? We all have this problem right now. So we have all the good connections, spiritual, and due to that, we don't create negative karma that much. Another lucky way, because we recognize what is right, what is wrong. So we create, we don't create negative karma that much. But another case, we don't practice that much Dharma. Because we just, are mindful or kind of like, when finish teaching and then go to all the worldly activities all the time. I truly regret that. So I didn't think about wanting to practice Dharma, practice Dharma. I truly regret that. He really regret that. I didn't stay long enough with my parents and brothers. He didn't have enough stay long because his life is short. I didn't have time to stay too long. I also regret that. He has many regret. His regret is no practice Dharma, his previous life. He has connect to the Dharma, but he didn't practice. And then he didn't have time to stay his parents and brother together that much. That time was much too short. So life is too short. That is why I am so disappointed. He's extremely disappointed. I think we finished the time and we can leave here today. Tomorrow starting page 14. So it's good to be disappointed to the samsara. I think we disappointed to the we not doing correct. You know, word delivery is not great word to stop there, but spiritual way is perfect words, good teaching. You know, teacher. This word is disappointed to samsara, right? Disappointed to we don't do good things. So now going to do the dedication.
Do you need the screen share?
Yes.
Okay, I'll turn it back on.
Absolutely, I need a screen to share. Lord Jianchang, the Lopa, Marpa, Malarepa, Dharma Lord Gambopa, Pamotropa, Lord Digompa, please bestow upon us most auspicious bless our Kaju Lamas. But this virtue may achieve any nations by defeating all enemies, confusion. May all who traverse on the ways of birth, old age, sickness, death, cross the ocean of samsara. Bodhicitta, the excellent precious mind, where it is unborn may arise, where it is born may not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. I pray the Lama may have a good health. I pray the Lama may have a long life. I pray that your Dharma activities separate far and wide. I pray that I may not be separate from you. As Manjushri the Vero realized automatic state, and as did Samantabhadra, I will follow in the path and fully dedicate all the merit for all sentient beings. By the blessing of the Buddha who attained the three kayas, by the blessing of the true of unchanging Dharma as such, by the blessing of the indivisible Sangha order, may the merit I shall bear fruit. By the virtue collected in the three times, by my seven order beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the inner rule of virtue, may I and all sentient beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the Guru Digompa Ranashri, who is omniscient Lord of Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of the samsara. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Thank you, everyone. Rashi Dele, have a good day. Tonight,
Thank you, everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, Marilyn, Debbie, Amanda. Thank you, translators.
We have the 2 p.m.
上师，感恩义师。
Thank you, hostess.
Buddha Amitabha practice and also Sancho ritual.
感恩康
Please,
复，
you
礼
have
礼
come
康
to
复。
join together.
师兄们在那个慈诚罗珠康复的前世。
So, can you hear?
Yes.
Thank you,
We- 2 p.m. in the Vancouver, Canada time.
What was that?
2 p.m. today.
2
前世
p.m.
今生论这部论点里面有这一个故事，这个中
And we have a Buddha Amitabha practice with the Sancho ritual. If you have time, please join. and the power of Sangha and more benefit.
So,
we
2
need the support together. We have so many names like disease. We need the power of Sangha.
Yes.
Okay, please join, and if you have time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kempo.
Rashidele.